Next on the agenda is a proclamation for today. And I believe we have a guest speaker with regard to the proclamation. And I'm also assuming we may have a staff presentation. Ms. Angie, should I turn it over to you for the moment?
Should be turned over to, I believe, Latricia may be joining us. Kevin?
I don't see her yet.
Yes, Madam Chair, Latricia is joining us right now.
There she is. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Ms. Tillman.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Black History Month. I'm happy to introduce Janeen Smith, who is part of the Black History Month committee, and she will be running the agenda from here, both with some context and overview, as well as the young man who will be sharing the proclamation.
Well, welcome virtually. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Janeen Smith. So I'm going to give a brief background history of what Black History Month is. That will tie into a spoken word written by me. And then I'll be introducing Liam Nelson, who will read the proclamation. If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor. Black History Month began as Negro History Week in 1925 and created by Carter G. Woodson, other notable historians, and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. It gained so much traction that Negro History Week became Black History Month in 1976 in the United States. Black History Month is an event that is recognized globally. It is at a time where a lens is placed on Black culture and its prominence. Although those are facts that can be found in a simple Google search, I'm going to tell you about real Black history through a spoken word that I entitled, What is Black History? It is grandma's hands. It is the spirit that flows through her body while she is on her knees praying for better days. It is tears, the blood shed through the journey and the unparalleled fight. It is the kings and queens DNA that flows through my veins and the warrior spirit that sits at the pit of my stomach. It is the popping of gum, rolling of eyes, cracking sunflower seeds on a stoop while sharing laughs. It is hopscotch and playing basketball in hoops made from milk crates. It is the smell of cantaloupe and window sills in the summertime, while the sound of water flowed through open Johnny pumps. That was our water park. It's double Dutch. It's patent leather church shoes, sitting there for hours with the incentive of Sunday dinner. Pressing combs on stoves that foreheads and ears dread, and the resentment of pressing grease. It is shape-ups, tape-ups, line-ups, froze, weaves, braids, fades, and everything in between. Fresh waves that'll make you seasick. It is hip-hop, real hip-hop that spoke about our joys and pains, sunshine and rain. Y'all know the song, come on now. It is jazz, rock and roll. They won our rhythm and none of our blues. And knowing you can't have one without the other. It is strange fruit from Billie Holiday and listening to Ella sing while Dizzy played, and Charlie Parker, The Bird, Run DMC, Lenny Kravitz, and all the alternative R&B junkies. It is lynching of Black bodies, still. Jim Crow laws, Browns versus Border Ed, slave ships, ripping flesh off backs, displaced families, baby stripped from families, still. It is knowing that Black history did not start during slavery. It was a mere eraser of who we were, and yet we still rise. Maya Angelou would be so proud, you know? Nikki, Nina, Sanchez, Gil Scott, Heron, and now the revolution is televised. It is spoken word, and even while silenced, we protest so loud the world can hear it. Black Panther parties, red light basement parties, mamas coming outside in rollers to fetch their young and not letting the streets have them. It is the crack epidemic. The government dropping bombs on Move in Philly. Message. It's the resiliency for me. It is watching a young Black woman reading a poem to a Black president and a Black vice president during an inauguration, recalling memories of wanting to become one. It is the little Black girls and Black boys that tuned in and now one day wanting to become her. Life makes full circles. It is Black boy joy and Black girl magic, and allowing them to feel just that. It is knowing that Black history is 24/7, 365, and 366 days in a leap year for those who want to be cute. Black History Month is all the things and infinitely more. Embrace it, for we are here and we aren't going anywhere. Peace. So now I'm going to introduce Liam. Speaking of Black boy joy, this young man, Liam Nelson, is nothing short of magnificent. He is the very definition and demonstration of not letting our past define us. Liam is a student in the Hillsborough School District. He is a tag student and currently maintaining straight A's. He is a skilled musician and plays the drums, bass, ukulele, and piano. Liam is also a phenomenal athlete. He aspires to become a pilot someday and is looking to attend the University of Oregon when he enters college. Reading the proclamation, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Liam Nelson.
Thank you. What an introduction. A proclamation in honor of Black History Month 2021. Whereas the Washington County Board of Commissioners takes pride in recognizing February 2021 as Black History Month, celebrating the many notable contributions that the people of African descent have made to our country. And whereas Negro History Week was first established in 1926 by the Association of Study for African American Life and History under the leadership of Carter G. Woodson and the famed African American historian known as the father of Black history. And whereas in 1976, ASALH expanded the celebration of Black History Week into a month-long celebration of Black history. And whereas 10 years later, Congress passed Public Law 99-444, designating 244, designating February 1986 as the 60th annual public and private salute to Black history observed as National Black Afro-American History Month. And whereas we celebrate the diversity of Black people, where they self-identify as African American or Black. And whereas we recognize this year's theme of Black family representation, identity, and diversity. And whereas we revere the unbreakable bonds within the Black family, despite challenges placed on those tied by persistent and abundant racial disparities in our society, including the criminal justice system, healthcare, education, economic opportunity, and many other areas affecting the Black community. And whereas we acknowledge the systematic racism which has been deconstructed societal, which has deconstructed societal ideas of a traditional family for many, and whereas we now hereby recognize and celebrate all identities of the Black family structure, where it is a traditional unit of people related by blood or ancestry, or purposefully created group of individuals formed for shared compassion, love, and support. And whereas each Black family has a unique and interesting story, although we may not be able to fully understand, we can listen and show that we care, treating each other with respect and empathy. And whereas recent tragic events have elevated the voice of the Black struggle, it will take more than a raised voice to bring about the lasting institutional and societal change that it is desperately needed in our country. And whereas we encourage all people to recognize and confront these issues by standing in the gap at every opportunity and bridge barriers with fearlessness, determination, fearlessness and determination to improve lack of representation of Black people. And whereas today we celebrate and affirm the contributions of the Black family to our community throughout the state and the nation. And therefore, be it resolved that the Washington County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim February 1st through February 28th, 2021 as Black History Month, and calls upon the people of Washington County to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and reflections to continue our efforts to create a world that is more just, equitable, and prosperous for all.
Thank you, Liam Nelson. We really appreciate your reading that proclamation for us and bringing it to life. Also to you, Ms. Smith, for your beautiful spoken word. Before we move on to commissioner comments, well, actually, now is the time for commissioner comments before we have a motion to adopt today's proclamation. Commissioners, would you like to contribute anything before we entertain a motion? Commissioner Willie, I think you got to it first.
Yes, well, I just wish that I had heard Ms. Smith's message before I did my video. I would have probably said, I'm going to substitute her for me to do that, because she did a much better job. And that was great. There was just lots of, I guess, memory information there from the standpoint of remembering a lot of what you said there, and of course not remembering a lot of it as well. But you did a great job, and so thank you for that.
What Commissioner Willie is referring to is that we commissioners were provided the opportunity to participate in our non-traditional Black History Month opportunities this month. Since we can't get together face to face, we're taking full advantage of technology and recording segments for videos that will be used throughout the month of February and different events that are taking place in the community. So thank you for mentioning that, Commissioner Willie. Commissioner Treese.
Thank you. I'd like to take just a moment here, and I'd like to reserve the last comments for Commissioner Fye. Ms. Smith, thank you so much for your spoken word. It was wonderful. I really appreciate it. And Liam, thank you for reading the proclamation. You breathe life into it. You breathe youth into it. And I greatly appreciate that. The one thing that I would like to say here is that while we celebrate Black History Month, I want the commissioners, my fellow commissioners, to remember we're part of creating the next Black History Month. And what I mean by that is, as we work through this year, the work that we do in relationship to our equity, diversity, and inclusion work, the work that we do in response to our community, all builds on Black history. So it's not, I want to say, and I know I speak for all of the commissioners, it's not lost on us what the social injustice is right now. It's not lost on us what the disparities are in terms of the effects of COVID. It's not lost on us the work that we need to do. But I do commit to working toward the next Black History Month, where we can tell the stories and the hopeful stories that come out of our learning experience. So thank you for sharing the history. Thank you for enlightening me and all of us. And I look forward to working throughout the year on improving what the Black experience is. So thank you.
Commissioner Rogers.
Well, what's been said has been said. I certainly echo the sentiments, and that's what's always difficult being down towards the end, is you don't want to be too redundant. Ms. Smith, thank you for your comments. They were excellent. You obviously put some thought into them and delivered them with some passion. Liam, I would tell you that Commissioner Willie really grimaced when you said the University of Oregon, since he's from another college. He's going, oh no. But thank you. It was hard to hear you, I would tell you, but I can tell by the tempo of your remarks and the way you delivered them, you got a very bright future. Good for you. That's terrific. It's always good to see people coming up. That sounds terrible when we say that about younger people, but I guess you'll get old like us sometime, or me anyway. And I appreciate that there are people coming behind myself that certainly have the right stuff, and you got it. So congratulations.
I will do something a little unusual. I'll make some final remarks here before turning it over to Commissioner Fye. I would once again like to thank you, Mr. Nelson, for bringing the proclamation to life, and to Ms. Smith for gracing us with that beautiful spoken word. It was very, very insightful, and I really appreciated all of your efforts that went into commissioning it, developing it, and delivering it before us today. Also, I want to thank Ms. Tillman for you and your team for making this year's observance of Black History Month a very meaningful one for our community, and all of the work that your team members have put into the different events. But also to Mr. Nelson and Ms. Smith, please know that you have a very engaged Board of Commissioners here. We have fully embraced the need to advance racial equity in our community. Our actions today, such as adopting this proclamation, well, it by itself is performative. It is one of our many steps that we are taking to change our policies and investment decisions to advance racial equity within our community. And I want to compliment all of my colleagues on this very active and engaged Board of Commissioners for continuing to make those investments. This is a journey. There is no ending point. We have a long way to go, but we are being intentional about advancing racial equity. So, and now with that, Commissioner Fye.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Treese, for giving me the opportunity to speak last. Folks who are joining here, normally, traditionally, the chair have the final say in situations like this, so I'm honored, Madam Chair, as well. So thank you. Janeen, that was a really beautiful poem. Thank you so much. And also, before you did your poem, you did the history. I really appreciated that, and hearing that, and people who are tuning in hearing that, because I think you're right. Black History Month should be celebrated, 365 days, and also centered in the month of February. So I appreciated hearing that, and also centering Black excellence in your talk. And I loved your poem. I think in college, I flirted with poetry a little bit in my community college years. So I really appreciated hearing your poetry, and it was very well delivered as well. Liam, thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you consider politics and one day end up on this commission or different commission or look into, because we need more people in these leadership platforms, representing and delivering and speaking for the communities, because really the lived experience is very important. Trisha, thank you so much for your leadership and doing this proclamation. It's my first proclamation here, and I look forward to the future ones. I do agree with Roy Roger. I think being the last, everyone said everything, so I'll just say ditto to everything that all the commissioners have said so far, and the chair. And then just to add that, you know, we've come a long way, and I think change is possible. You know, my election is the testament. You know, who would have thought in Washington County, you know, a county that was founded in the early 1800s. I found out through my campaign, and even long before Oregon was a state incorporated into the Union, and you know. And also to add to that complexity, we're one of the most diverse counties in Oregon, yet we've never had a representation from communities of color on the Washington County Board of Commissioners. And then to add that, you know, a Black girl is the first one to join. So I'm very honored and really appreciate the communities of color that really, you know, pulled their powers together and efforts to uplift me and to make a change in this and diversify this board. I'm really honored, and you know, I will fight and center racial and economic justice while on the board. And you know, I think our commissioners, the 4 commissioners here, and you know, are willing. So bring up if you have any, you know, change that you want to see. I like to use this month and the month of any racial groups, proclamations that we do, an opportunity probably to make a meaningful change, whether that is a direct investment into that community or really change policies, because we do have a lot of laws on the books that it's really not serving all of our communities well. So I really look forward to working with our communities and Washington County staff to make meaningful change, whether that is internal policy change or amendments that we need to make, or either doing something big like ordinance change, because we need to do something different. You know, all the protests that's happening on the streets, it's cry for, you know, help. And I think we really need to listen to people and make those changes and make space to hear those changes, because think about it, you know, if we've always done something one way, it's really hard to say, let's try different. But really taking that space and creating the opportunity to, you know, do something called perspective taking is what I hope our commission will do, and what I hope the community will push us to do. So thank you so much for your poetry, for reading the proclamation, Liam, and I look forward to working together and celebrating, and I look forward to what Washington County has in terms of activities of our own to really carry out this month. How do we gonna celebrate? You know, how do we celebrate virtually with the communities? What are we doing? So I'm really looking forward and excited to see. Jerry, I'm doing my video tomorrow. So I feel like I'm cheating because I've heard all this now. But I did put together my talking points before I heard, if that's comforting. So I'll try to not cheat and amend my talking points. But I just wanted to share that, and thank you so much. And Liam, I'll say one last thing. This is different than Black History Month. Liam Neeson is one of my favorite actors. So I'll close with that.
Neat, thank you. Well, we have the opportunity for a motion to proclaim February 1st through the 28th, 2021 as Black History Month, and encourage the people of Washington County to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies. And I know that our Washington County Library System has materials and suggestions for all kinds of books, music, films, and documentaries, and other events are posted on the Washington County website. So do we have a motion? We have a motion from Commissioner Fye. Do we have a second? We have a second from Commissioner Treese. Thank you. All those in favor of this proclamation, please vote by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you again, Janeen Smith and Liam Nelson, for joining us today. Latricia, did you have anything more to close out for today?
Let me go ahead and take that opportunity just because you offered it. It wasn't planned, but typically if we were going to be gathering as a community in celebration of Black History Month, we would begin by singing the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. I am not going to sing, but I will, just in the spirit of poetry and history and acknowledgement, read the first stanza of Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Thank you. And thank you so much to the planning committee and to our generation that's coming up behind us who's going to take the torch when it's time to pass it. We look forward to celebrating with everyone Black History Month 2021.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all of that. And onward we go into a brighter future. Enjoy this month, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. And stay healthy.